Can I touch it?
Yeah.
That's sort of blocking
Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I put it down just so it wouldn't block your camera.
I got it. I'll adjust it. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. The Village Voice is live. Hello all. Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to the Village Voices. This is your host, Miriam Gibson. The Village Voices are not associated with any political party, association, or religious organization. Our mission is to remain neutral and to keep the community informed of the current political and social issues that directly affect their everyday lives. After all, it's really all about the issues, isn't it? Join us as we meet, greet, and interview our elected officials and those running for political office, seeking your vote. We also invite leaders and organizations from the community to come and join us to inform and discuss the current social issues and hot topics that impact the community and the issues which needs the community's attention. We encourage you to get involved in the political process by becoming a registered voter and exercising the power of your vote. Take your seat at the table and help set the political agendas based on the issues that are important to you as a community. You do have the power to shape your own destiny by getting involved. To reach the Village Voices with questions and suggestions and donations, we also take those, please email us at thevillagevoiceradio@gmail.com. thevillagevoiceradio@gmail.com. And we also want to mention our sponsor, Extreme Realty and Property Management Services. Their telephone number is 702-970-1535. If you need a good property manager with 15 years of experience, you come to the right place. And also, if you're an investor and you need a mentor, Extreme Realty and Property Management Services are your go-to person. Okay, great. Now, today we have a guest. Also, we'll introduce my co-host, Shannon Churchwell.
Good
Shannon.
morning,
How you doing
everyone.
Today? Great, fine. And we also want to thank Jimmy Vega, the candidate for Las Vegas Constable. He's with us today, and he's here to discuss his platform with the in running for the Constable's office
Of North Las Vegas.
Yes. And how are you doing today, Mr. Vega?
Good, Miriam. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for coming. And I understand that you are the one that's going to restore the integrity back to the office of the Constable.
Absolutely. That's
which is well needed. Definitely well needed. So give us a little information. Let the audience know more about Jimmy Vega and what your platform is. And let's take it from there. Let's talk.
You know, I've been a Nevada resident for over 42 years. I graduated from Clark High School in 1985.
Oh.
After I graduated, I joined the United States Navy. Did my 4 years, came back, affiliated with the reserves. Then I was recalled back to active duty for Operation There's a Shield, There's a Storm.
Oh.
So when I came back from the Gulf War, my obligated time had ended, and I left the service. You know, I opened up a small business, an insurance agency. I've had that for 23 years. And then in the tragic events of 9/11, I re-enlisted in the Navy in October of 2001. I'm still in. I've served going on 25 years. I hold the rank of Chief Petty Officer, and I'm a Fleet Marine Force Hospital Corpsman, so I served many years with my Marine Corps brethren. I'm also a Deputy Constable. I've served as a Deputy Constable for almost a decade, and I'm a Nevada Category 1 Peace Officer.
Oh, wow.
So, the reason why I decided to run for Constable was because of my opponent. First let me begin with, there's been so much controversy with constables over the last several years.
Yeah, I've read about that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, and now the controversy has been brought to North Las Vegas. So my opponent, Robert Edelson, who termed out as a city councilman 4 years ago, and Herb Brown, the current constable, was retiring. knowing that if he had won, he had to go to the police academy.
Oh,
So
okay.
he won. Took him a year to go, and on the first day, he couldn't do more than 3 sit-ups, so he quit the academy.
Wow. You have that option?
If you can't make it, you can't make it. So, but at that time, you know, it's Nevada state law that you have to be at least a Category 2 peace officer. So at that time, the county commissioners tried to remove him, and he then sued Clark County. So lost, you know, you fast forward 3 years later, lawsuit's still pending, and he's running for re-election. That's the reason why I did it. You know, not everybody's meant to be a cop or a fireman or in the military. You got to go to your prospective boot camps or academies to earn it.
Yeah.
And like anything in life, right? You have to earn it.
You do.
You know, so that's my whole thing. That was an integrity issue for me, and I said, okay, you know, I'm going to run. So
it's good you stepped up.
yeah, you know, and I have a lot of support. I have support from Mayor John Lee. The mayor's done a fantastic job, in my opinion, for North Las Vegas, and this controversy with Robert Ellison has just placed a black cloud over North Las Vegas, a lot of negative attention. So, you know, I plan on. I'm a Latino, so you know, I plan on increasing the department. I want to bring minorities in because right now they don't have any Latinos.
No.
So, you know, there's a big Spanish population there.
Yeah, it is in North Las Vegas.
I also want to
Should be
serve.
well represented.
Yeah. You know, I have plans to, like I said, increase the department because right now, when they do an eviction, then they need backup. They call it from North Las Vegas PD. Well, North Las Vegas Police Department is shorthanded as it is, you know, so to pull away from their resources, their officers to back them up, I think it's just ludicrous. So, you know, I want to increase the department. That way you can call from our own people for backup.
Exactly. Now, for a lot of the audience out there that really may not be familiar, what is a constable and what are some of the things that a constable does?
Okay, so the constable is to civil law what the sheriff and chief of police are to criminal law. We all go to the same academies, we all have the same arrest powers, but we would do, our duties are such things as evictions, serving garnishments, bank wage garnishments, wage garnishments and bank garnishments,
Right.
Subpoenas, property seizures, and serving warrants.
Okay. Now, I know that at one time they were eviction was very rampant, especially after a lot of the foreclosures. And it's still like that. I mean, it's for foreclosures.
Right. Well, you know, you still have evictions, but you know, like I was saying, so things I want to change up in North Las Vegas is that you know, I want to serve seniors, families with children, and small children, and veterans. Right. So, you know, I'm going to create a pamphlet that states, do you need to find a new place to live? I'll have resource numbers that, you know, they can make the call. They have to make the call. I can't make it for them.
Right.
But that way, 5 days later, when the deputies go out to serve the eviction, they've already found a new place. We don't have to take them out of their home.
Oh, okay.
I think that's really, really nice because we have a growing homeless problem really in different segments of the country, really, not just here in Clark County. And it just says so much that you want to address the fact that sometimes people fall on hard times.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to do what you have to do. They can't just hold over that person's property. But having that resource available and as a standard that you're offering, just making that available to those who are, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Right. The sheriff, you know, the constable will be here in a few days or in a month, however long of a notice they had. I think that really means a lot.
Yeah, I think that's very commendable.
Very, very good idea.
Because, you know, that is a human element to this, and I know that's a very hard job.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been a realtor for over 20 years, and I know I've had to reach that point where you had to go through. I'm also representing the seller, property owners, investors that they make their living off of renting these properties, and unfortunately, it comes to the point that you have to do the process of evicting people.
Right.
You know what I mean? But your idea of, you know, having that human element of consideration for the person on that end that out of desperation, they're there not because maybe they lost their job or whatever.
Right.
I think that's a really
Very fair.
outreach.
Well, you have to serve the letter of the law, but
Yeah,
no one
you
says
do
can't-
have to.
You can't do it with some compassion.
Yes,
Some
that's the
compassion.
key element
So,
that's missing. Now, would you recommend that that they be notified when they are actually when the owner is following the eviction process because I know that there's a lot of veterans in North Las Vegas.
correct.
There's a lot of veterans over there. And because of a lot of the large influx of people that's coming in Las Vegas, they're driving the prices of the properties up, and a lot of people can't afford to rent. So consequently, they end up have to be evicted.
Right.
But where in the process would it be most effective in getting them prepared to do the transition to some supportive services?
Well,
Who would you work
unfortunately,
with to do that?
so like I said, it would have to be done on our end is when we post the 5-day notice of eviction. But I want to make it aware that my office will be a resource to the people. I mean, I want it to be if they, a lot of people are scared or intimidated by government and law enforcement.
Yeah.
I want to be able to be that voice for them. They can call the office, they can ask questions, and we're going to be, we're going to provide as much information as possible. So, and yes, there's saturated with veterans. And veterans are near and dear to my heart. Like I said, I've been in the Navy for 25 years, still serving in the reserves. I also sit on a board called Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals, which I will be the president for the next 2 years of. And what we do basically in a nutshell is that we fundraise all year, and at towards the middle or the end of the year, we normally get a home donated to us from different financial institutions, but they come to us in bad shape. And as a realtor, you understand that.
Yeah.
And so then what we do is we refurbish those homes with the money that we raised, and then we seek a nominated veteran, not a homeless veteran. They have to be able to maintain the upkeep. They have to maintain. They have to pay the taxes. But let's say a family that's just they're struggling, but they can't get over that hump. But they go through a vetting process, and the one that's selected, the veteran that is selected, receives a mortgage-free home.
That sounds great. That's a really great idea.
Yeah.
Now, is North Las Vegas willing to provide some type of supportive services for their future homeless? What happens to them once they get evicted? I know you suggested.
Well, like I said, there's resource numbers, and we can provide resources for temporary housing, right?
Okay, that's a great idea.
But at least it gives them some hope, right?
Yeah.
And a chance to gather themselves and make their next move.
Yeah, I understand that the Constable office can't do everything. That
Right.
They have to have other agencies work in coordination with them in order to deliver those services.
Well, it's like, as like you said, you're a realtor, so it's
Yeah.
like squatters.
Yeah.
Right? So
That's
with
another
squatters, I want to work closely with the North Las Vegas PD and their task force to implement, a program that we can help remove squatters.
Yeah,
That was an issue, a big issue before in the past, the squatters.
that has been an issue because I know. I've gotten to the point where I might have a house sold and then you go there to do the walkthrough, and to my surprise, there's somebody squatting in there and flashing some lease up that I know that's not legal.
Right.
But that's one of the problems that I see, that we have to deal with.
Right.
Squatters.
One of the things that you do as a constable, you said you do the seizure of properties.
Correct.
Does North Las Vegas have auctions or sales of houses?
Well, let me explain that one to you. So it's not so much you're talking about more of a
Like a
foreclosure.
share?
So
Yeah.
no. So what we do is, let's say somebody owes you money, right? And the other person says, "Well, sue me." You sue them. Well, once you get that default judgment from the court, you can bring it to us, the constable's office, and we'll enforce it. Meaning, we'll send deputies to their home, their businesses, with tow trucks, locksmith, moving trucks, and we'll seize almost everything. right? And we'll send deputies to their banks to freeze their accounts, depending how big or small it is. You know, I've done proper seizures where it's $10,000 and up to $110 million.
Wow.
Okay.
So you know, it depends on the severity of the amount.
Exactly.
But that's the type of proper seizures we do.
Okay.
So, and a lot of people don't know that, and I know that North Las Vegas Constable's office is not even providing that service.
Wow.
So a lot of people, you know, they sue somebody, but nothing.
It
comes
like
out
goes
of it.
in the wind.
Right.
You know.
So a lot of
we
people
can enforce that.
Yeah, well, that's good because I can imagine that, you know, people would like to be able to collect on a judgment
Right.
if the judge has ordered it. You know?
Right, like a judgment doesn't mean anything if it's not enforced.
It
So
has to be
that's something that
enforced.
your office is, if elected, you're looking to make sure that that's fully functional under your leadership.
Correct.
Okay, that's very good.
Yeah, well, spotters was one of the questions. And I understand that you went to school with Jimmy Kimmel?
I did. You know.
Oh, okay. How was that? That was interesting.
You know, I call him Kimmel because we have the same name, so we kind of refer to each other by last names.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Cleto's his band leader. So there were three of us, Jimmys. There were Jimmy Kimmel, myself, and Jimmy Gentleman. So Cleto's kind of the one that got sick of saying Jimmy because we'd all respond to it and started referring to us by last names. But you know, it was funny that when we spoke, he says, you know, I want to help you. I was really surprised, and so I said, okay. So, and I've been trying to do this throughout this whole race to bring both sides of the aisle together on this because, you know, my race should not be a partisan race. You shouldn't have to choose between Republican and Democrat on this.
Exactly.
We're law enforcement. We don't create law. We just enforce law.
Exactly.
So my office can't affect anyone unless you break the law. So. You know, I brought both sides close. I'm endorsed by many Democrats and many Republicans, you know, that are coming together. They understand that Robert Edelson's not qualified. So even on the Democratic side, it's hard for them to endorse somebody who's
Not qualified.
well, he's cheating the taxpayers, you know, because, you know, so we're paying taxes for his salary and his pension, you know, and it's just wrong, you know, so.
I don't understand how one that you set standards. I mean, standards are to be adhered to, and if he's not meeting it, I don't understand how he would be even qualified to even run.
Well, it's showing that he's not willing to follow the rules. Then it's
so
hard
what does
to.
that indicate?
It's hard
I mean,
to think that
a
he's
law
going to
enforcement
enforce.
officer.
No, he's
thing.
not a law enforcement
Oh,
officer.
excuse me.
He got elected in that position, but in my opinion, he's impersonating a law enforcement officer.
Yeah.
You know, how do
Okay.
you run a law enforcement agency without having any knowledge of the law? No military background, no law enforcement background, and not even willing to go to the academy where you would learn quite a bit.
Well, North Las Vegas actually need qualified people like yourself to hold that position because we want North Las Vegas is growing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I could understand what you mean by bringing integrity back to the office because I did a lot of research about what's going on and have gone on in a lot of the constable offices around the valley, and it just amazes me.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate, you know, your contribution.
Well, North Las Vegas is a growing city, so it is good to have these systems in place and qualified people to run these different offices because the city's just getting bigger and bigger.
It is.
It's about how many? About 500 people.
There's 5,000 people a month coming into Vegas.
Yeah, and they're really looking to settle in North Vegas, Henderson, you know, so it's definitely important to make sure that especially law enforcement is properly fitted and in place. So we're speaking to Jimmy Vega for North Las Vegas Constable. I just want to remind everybody, I think today is the very last day. If you waited to the last minute to register to vote, you can't register past today, from my understanding. Early voting begins October 20th. I believe this Saturday, if you have any questions about voting, you can always call 702-455-VOTE.
And also, we also want to recognize Domestic Abuse Month. You know, women, or if you're in a situation where you're being abused, please get out of it. You're worth more than that, okay? Call a domestic abuse hotline and ask for help. And we are asking that you understand, if you have any further questions, feel free to contact us at the Village Voice Radio at gmail.com. You know, and how would we get in touch with Jimmy Vega?
My phone number is 702-608-2221, or you can go to my website at jimmyvega4constable.com.
Okay.
I wanted to touch also some other issues. You know, I know my opponent is going to come at me with negative things. You know, so you know, I want to explain why I got into law enforcement. So I was once early 2000s. I was falsely arrested and falsely charged. I spent 5 days in jail, and it was a small little town out of Kentucky. It was a payroll company it was a payroll that I disputed, and without any proof, they filed these charges against me, and I was taken in by Metro. Spent 5 days, like I said, but you know, did I get an apology? Were all charges dropped? Absolutely. But I learned something, you know. So I learned that, and I still have it to this day, that everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
So true.
And so, even when I arrest somebody, I do it with respect, because I'm just doing my job, but I don't know the background of what happened.
Exactly.
And so, you know, it's I understand when I take somebody to jail, like I've been there. So, you know, and a couple other things, you know, back in during the recession, I think it hit everybody pretty hard, and including myself. So, you know, there's a couple things he's going to bring out. I bounced a check, a couple checks. Yes, I did. I know when the recession hit hard, I could afford to pay the Yellow Book ad. I mean, I was lucky that I kept my business. A lot of businesses shut down and closed, but we all survived it.
Yeah, believe me, I've been through that. Went through that tumultuous period myself as a business person.
So,
I don't know too many people who haven't bounced a check here or there.
So, you know, another thing that I was involved in a lawsuit. It was a business venture, and I was just a third party. I don't know why I was pulled into it, but it involved an elderly man, and he ended up suing me. And to avoid this man, who was an 80-plus-year-old man going through a week's worth of a trial, I just paid it.
Okay.
Because, you know, I figured, well, you know, I'm not going to put this man through this, and I'm not guilty, but at the same token, I still have many years in front of me where I can make up that money.
Yeah.
So.
That's understandable. You know, sometimes we have to make business decisions.
Right.
That, you know, to cut our losses.
So what I'm trying to say is that, you know, I can relate to the average person because I am the average person. I'm not a politician. You know, I'm just an everyday person.
And you're a businessman.
And a businessman.
You know, you've had your insurance business for
23 years.
For 23 years. So
I think you have the great combination for
Yeah.
Constable. You have military experience. You're a deputy. You're a business owner. I mean, that nice mix is really what's needed for this office, because it's not just law enforcement. There is a business aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you also express an element of compassion, which is needed. I know it's business, but it also needs the element of compassion.
Really, in all the offices, they need just a sprinkle of that.
I mean, like, you know, we are dealing with people.
Right.
So I think that you have some very good ideas, and also you going to be president of the Veterans Real Estate Association.
That VA, Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals.
Yeah, and so that's very commendable.
Well, I would encourage everyone to come out. Early voting, like I said, is this Saturday?
I know the last day to register is tomorrow, which is the 18th.
Okay. The last day to register, please, if you haven't registered already, register between today and tomorrow. And if you have any questions, you can always call 702-455-VOTE. The Clark County's election board will answer any of your questions. We're speaking with Jimmy Vega for North Las Vegas Constable, and he would definitely appreciate your vote. Early voting begins this Saturday. It's no excuses voting. You are in and out in like literally 2 to 3 minutes. It doesn't take that long to vote nowadays. And you can vote anywhere you see a sign. You give them your name. They will pull it up in the system and you can vote. It is easier.
It's just that easy,
than
okay?
Ever.
Get your mama, your sister, your brother, your cousin. Bring them all out to vote. We need to bring integrity back to the constable office in North Las Vegas. We have Jimmy Vega here that is here.
And we need
ready
someone
and prepared to do the
qualified.
job. Okay, you've heard his story. Compare him to all the other candidates and that's running, and you make a decision that's who you think is the best. We thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate you, very much, and taking the time and coming and letting people know about the constable office and what your plans for. It sounds fantastic, and we really appreciate you coming today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you. And also, I also